Unscripted.
So far, 2021 has been a bit of a weird year for the new consoles and the new games that we're obviously supposed to get and how things are supposed to work. Now listen, we were made all sorts of promises leading into this generation, just like every other generation, you know, where they promise us a bunch of different things. And, you know, it's always kind of a wait and see type of thing when it comes down to if we're going to actually be able to utilize these things, or if they even come through giving us the things that they promised in the first place. Oftentimes it's just a crapshoot just to see what's going to happen. With that being said, this is kind of weird situation that only affects Xbox, and as such, I figured, you know, I would do a little video on it and talk about it, because I feel like it is a bit of bad news for Xbox going forward. So I do hope that something can kind of come out of this, and maybe we can get them to change this around or something along those lines, because this is kind of BS as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? This shouldn't even be a thing. Who to blame? I don't know. It's either you know, some people blame Microsoft. It's hard saying who exactly is at fault here, but you know, it's just one of those weird situations that we find ourselves in at the beginning of this new year and at the beginning of a new generation as well. So we'll have to see what happens along the line. This just seems horribly anti-consumer to me. I don't know, like maybe that's like a bad word these days to say something is anti-consumer, but you know, it's just one of those things where I just find it to be a little bit odd and a little bit strange, and you know, and I wanted to do a video about it, let my fellow Xbox brothers and sisters know exactly kind of what's going on, and you know, we can kind of take it from there, you know. But yeah, this is definitely something that I find to be very interesting, and I wanted to do a video on it, so we might as well get started. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. And if you guys wouldn't mind, you know, you can subscribe to the channel. You can also go ahead and hit the bell so you're notified of all the content as soon as it drops. I do something every day, so really it just sort of depends on what you're interested in, and you know, kind of what your kind of deal is, honestly. So shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. If you are looking for a way to help out a little small crappy channel like my own, the best way to do that is a simple like. You know, I've mentioned this numerous times. I'm rebuilding my channel, so you know, it takes time and it takes effort, and it really just kind of counts on you guys, you know what I mean? And so I do hope that that's something that you guys absolutely kind of understand and help out with and things like that. So please help me out, and I will continue to do my best for you guys, open to all suggestions as well. So we know that smart delivery on Xbox is a thing, and we also knew that you know, it actually kind of is above and beyond what you know, what Sony is capable of doing, right? So we know that that's happening, but there's also been a bit of an issue. So for this instance, people who bought Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on disc for Xbox One are going to have to buy it again for the next gen version. According to the Activision FAQ on the page, it basically clearly states that there will be no physical upgrade on the Xbox One, which is weird because this doesn't affect PlayStation at all. So a closer look at Activision's FAQ page for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remake has revealed some bad news for those who own a physical copy of the game on Xbox One. The transition from last gen to current gen over the course of the last 6 months has been unlike any other, perhaps most notably in the decision by devs to offer free upgrades on games that span both generations. For the most part anyway. One of the few games that appears to have sidestepped this normal type of reality is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. But don't panic if you own the deluxe edition on the PS4. That version of the remake comes complete with a free upgrade. However, only if you opted for the standard edition. The upgrade will cost you an additional $10. It's even worse news for anyone playing on Xbox One. While most of what applies to the PS4 version remains the same, there will be no free upgrade available whatsoever for the physical edition. That's according to the fine print on Activision's page for the game, meaning Xbox One players will have to buy a new copy should they want to play the next gen version on the Xbox Series S or the X. Very devastating news, in my opinion. Just seems like kind of something's off there, because the only version doing this is the Xbox version and the physical version, so it makes no sense really. So the first hint that the Xbox One players with a physical copy will be left out in the cold can be found right at the top of the page. However, its confusing wording may mean it's just a misunderstanding. It's further down the page where Activision confirms there is indeed no confusion at all. The upgrade offer is not available with physical versions of the game on Xbox One. It's clearly stated under the Xbox upgrade section of the FAQ. What isn't clear, however, is why this is exactly going on, why PlayStation players have nothing to worry about other than a $10 fee, even if you have the digital edition of the game on Xbox, so you're all good. Other than that, the same $10, especially after Xbox stated long before the Series X hit the market that it didn't want anyone paying for next-gen upgrades of games they already own on the Xbox One. Now, this is a weird sort of situation, and there's a chance that it could be an oversight, but the wording of the info in the FAQ makes that seem very unlikely. So if you own a physical copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on Xbox One, you'll have to buy the game again to play it on Series X. That may also mean your save data will not transfer across. A similar decision was made by Square Enix to not include a new-gen version of Final Fantasy VII Remake in the free PlayStation Plus version, which also rubbed people the wrong way. But again, you can kind of understand that because they obviously want people to buy the new version on PS5 with all the DLC and stuff like that instead of giving it away. So, very interesting to see this situation kind of unfold. And, not exactly the best of news if you're an Xbox fan, but I mean, what can you do? At the end of the day, these are just kind of things that happen, and it seems like they're going to continue to happen regardless of what we say or what we do. But yeah, very interesting to see that that's sort of a dirty move by, is it Activision? Is it Microsoft? I mean, I would assume that it's more on Activision's fault than Microsoft. I mean, obviously Microsoft would rather all these companies just do what they promised that they would do, which is give the free upgrades and things like that. But clearly, Activision has never been known for, going out there and being super consumer friendly, unfortunately. But, if you're a fan, or if you have this game physically, maybe you don't even feel like it's something that warrants an upgrade or whatever. I mean, the game already looked great, and as far as I can tell, people are pretty excited by what we've already seen. You know what I mean? So the game is looking great, but to me personally, the option to play at 120 frames is something that I really think is pretty cool. So I would definitely prefer the upgrade or whatever, even if you have to pay a little bit more money. So, I don't know. These are weird times, folks. Like I said, this is unlike any other generation that I've ever been a part of in terms of what's happening. I mean, Back 4 Blood was delayed. There's rumors of other games being delayed. So far, it's just a situation where all this stuff keeps happening, and we just don't know sort of how it's going to end up shaking off at the end of the generation, or, at the end of the first year. It's like, this is like maybe the first time that I can remember that we really kind of, and it's due to the pandemic, so don't get me wrong, I understand it, but this is the first time I can remember where it was such a low amount of games to launch new consoles and things like that. You know what I mean? I think that that's something that we'll all have to sort of, I guess, just come to understand. And as far as I can tell, you know what I mean? And I think that that's something that, we'll all sort of be stuck with or whatever. So I do hope that, I do hope that something happens and that games start to come out. And I hope that all the developers that are kind of stuck working at home eventually can go back into the studios and kind of work like that. And I think that's going to be better for everybody. And I also think, thanks to the pandemic and thanks to stuff like, well, what happened with, and kind of thanks with what happened to, CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077, a lot of devs are afraid to, are sort of afraid to, actually come out there and say anything. You know what I mean? They're afraid to put their games out. They're afraid to put games out because they might not be finished or might have problems or something along those lines. And so I do think that could be a bit of a problem, and I think that that's something that we might continue to see kind of crop up and be a bit of a problem just overall, you know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see how it kind of works out. I know for me personally, you know, it's been a bit of a weird transition into the new generation, and I do hope that we continue to see some movements and things like that, just in general. So here's hoping that it happens sooner rather than later. You know, at the end of the day, I would absolutely love for everybody to be able to game and have a ton of games to play and things like that. So please let me know what you guys think. I would appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with me. Take a minute to consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Let me know what kind of content you'd like to see. I'd love to kind of cater to what you guys want to see. It would mean a lot to me. So rack them up. Have a great day. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.